turret dive in the top lane. That means that some pressure going to be relieved in the top side. You mentioned how that's could be one good lane for KSV, but for now, going to take control of that is Afrika.
I feel like with comms, the Spires are really fun to track in professional play. In solo queue, people aren't always keeping track of them, so they're not necessarily the same as a Clairvoyance is, but in this game, why are they showing themselves on the Spire? Because usually if you want to gank, you don't show yourself on the Spires. Seeing a stun, but no impale yet.
Look at this team.
Really deep.
It is so deep. That's going to be the rise from behind. The rocket jump is down here, but Keen, in a little bit of trouble, is actually going to realm warp back to his team. We got QV in here too. Tons of damage going towards Afrika, but they're looking to drop it down here, and Bishing going to grab up Keen, but there's no follow-up, and they take him out. 5-on-5, it looks like Afrika is going to win another fight.
They're diving.
For a kill, a double kill for the rise, and taking damage on the crown. Everyone else going to back out, and another huge lead for Afrika.
So proactive from Afrika, not skipping a beat, even with aiming in the lineup. The epically deep teleport gets them a chunk. They also able to use the realm warp to get out, and they can fight front to back. And you saw Ruler was kind of exposed in the front line, not really being able to auto because of the scenario. We're going to get the replay here. No impale used, just harassment. The first teleport, it's defensive, you can see at that point. And then the second teleport right now is off screen. Here's Keen. He DPS's out Ruler and then gets out, and you think, okay, is this going to be it? Remember that it's on-hit cannon, not AP cannon, so they don't have to respect it as much. They can fight in that zone, and then Ruler isn't autoing, one auto, one auto, and dies in the front line because he doesn't have a tanky front line. He was already chunked out at the start. Ruler is someone they need to build around if they're going to play this Tristana. But LCK Tristana is not LCS Tristana, and it's already looking like another game where KSV is going to have to come back from a big lead. It's 4,000 gold at 13 minutes.
The really cool thing for me in that fight is that normally when you get a TP from the top laner, you're expecting someone like even a Scion, but like an Orin, a tank that's not going to be chunking you out too much. But the Rise comes in, he gets in there, chunks out the AD carry, gets out, re-engages with the CC from his team, and gets a double kill as the Rise from the top lane. It's so cool.
And you can even be hyped about it because there was no stopwatch for it to be get out of jail free.
No, it was real.
He chunked out, he played outside the realm warp until the last second, then walked in to actually get the escape. Beautifully done from Keen. Looking to a 4-0 on the top lane Rise.
Yeah. The first time these two teams played against each other, Afrika got so close in game 2.
Oh boy.
It was one hit away.
57, I believe, was the HP on the Nexus.
One auto. And again, I mean, the game 1, there was like 4 kills in it. And it went to 50 minutes. It was just a resident sleeper of a game. But this time, the first game was dominant. It was really cool to watch Sion, Talia. And then game 2, you're seeing more creative and very powerful stuff coming out of Afrika. And it's not looking quite like game 2 from their first series. It looks like they're much more taken into their hands and looking to get very far ahead early on.
And I start thinking about the fact that we never saw Samsung Galaxy look like we see KSV this year. And you'll say, okay, but they did struggle. They've always been a streaky team. It feels like one of their solo laners was always holding down the fort. In spring season MVP was Crown and Haru doing all the hard work. QV only playing tanks, got no MVPs in the entire season. Summer came around, Ambition was preferred, and QV was playing everything. He was looking like a god on carries and tanks. This year, it feels like both of their solo laners are struggling. They really have no good news story to come. And the end result is this team that was the shield, the scaling team that would always get to late game. They're taking 3 Gathering Storms and then getting out-roamed. They're having trouble in lanes as well. They're never going to get to the point where they can actually defend because they're getting snowballed on by an increasing number of teams here in the LCK.
Yeah. And then you look at Afrika, it's kind of the exact opposite. Spirit is so much more consistent than last year. And even bringing in Keen instead of Marin, it's a rookie coming in, I mean, comparatively to Marin, but even looking a bit more consistent in some ways. And bringing out new creative stuff, it's always refreshing to see out of a guy like Keen. And we find ourselves at 16 minutes in Afrika, miles ahead. 5,000 gold this early on, plus a Rift Herald. So they're looking to push this as fast as possible.
And one of the reasons we don't see Tristana in the LCK is you need those 2 items to be strong and 3 items to be powerful. Hit those in the previous game at 28 minutes, and they were equal. So you thought, okay, Tristana's going to take over the game. Didn't happen in this game. How much of this game will be decided before Tristana gets going?
Crown hops in and back, but Kuro noticing that he didn't have the faster rotation, says, I'll give that one up. He chunks out the Zoe. He's going to make this early mid-push even more strong.
Rest in peace, turret.
You got a demolition proc coming in from Tushin. Oh, not going to use it. Let the Rift Herald do the work.
They weren't looking for any second turrets. They don't need to get greedier. And they already are. Cloud Drake is free for Afrika if they want to turn onto it. Afrika run the map, and every time in Vision they show in top or bot side, all KSV can do is run towards their base.
4 Cloud Drakes and 1 Elder so far is all we've seen.
What does it mean, Valdez?
I mean, it's a bit of a windy day outside here in Korea. Not sure if it's related. We are going to have a Mountain Drake.
Are you telling me that summer season will be only Infernals? Uh-oh.
666 gold from Kuro.
Oh.
Okay,
we can get through this. Take it off the screen, please, Spo TV. We can't handle this.
They've signed a pact with the devil. It's the only reason why Afrika's doing so good this year.
I can't handle this, Valdez. Can we please lower the third? There it is. Okay, lower third is finally removed.
Okay. We're okay. What do you think of this build so far from Kuro? It's gotten him 666 gold so far, so I mean that's pretty good.
I think GP10 is fine if it's not going to be punished, and you're against Ambition. Why not go for gold per 10? Why not go risky in the build? If you're never going to be ganked, then why not go as greedy as possible?
We're going to have to ask Afrika about their business decisions recently and who they've been talking to. See if that's been helping them out, but it's cool to see Keen and aiming coming in and having a very dominant 2-0.
Afrika just need to keep walking up to turrets. How about ganks even? QV's trying to run away.
QV in a really bad spot here. The flash engage, and he is going to go down.
Keep this up, because look at the build here. Already, Hurricane Blade the Ruin King compared to nothing for the side of Ruler. Keep fighting, keep rolling up. Doesn't matter if Ambition's there. Who's going to be impaled? Not going to be too much to worry about. Afrika win every 3v3 if aiming is around.
It's very true. The double Tristana pick not working out so far for Ruler.
Going for Blade the Ruin King second, trying to bust lane. The lane's over, QV, I'm afraid. There's nothing you're going to be able to do in terms of the 1v1 unless so much happens in the mid game, as Kuro was just camping a brush. Feels like even bigger than the 7,000 gold lead, but 7,000 at 19 minutes is not something to be trifled with.
Yeah. Malzahar just mirroring wherever the Zoe goes. In this case, Kuro versus Crown. Always will have a pretty good 1v1 there. Has the TP. Unsealed Spellbook. We actually have the Q landing here onto Ruler, but it is Tristana.
Start backing away, and Afrika continue at the pace. 20-minute Baron is looking very, very possible for Afrika. That's why they start moving that way. There is a control ward for the side of KSV, and the recalls are coming, so at least they won't have to face check that exactly on 20 minutes. But Malzahar Kalista was already the spoiler that they'd be considering an early Baron, and a 5-kill lead is definitely the trailer for what could come here for the side of KSV.
Ambition trying to redeem himself here and to clean up some of these wards. Hasn't really had the best game of Skarner, 0-2. Although he is ahead in farm over Spirit, so that's something.
You're being very facetious over here,
He's
Valdez.
got something.
Don't worry, I pronounced that right as well.
Yeah.
You're talking about my pronunciation before.
Yeah,
I nailed that one.
Yeah.
Been a bit of an interesting performance by Ambition so far. But it's not over. Again, there is still Gathering Storm. There is a 40-minute win condition here for the side of KSV. It's just Afrika are playing the most. Let's get this one done in 28 minutes that we've seen them play in a long time.
Okay, they're engaging here onto the Zoe. Crown in a lot of trouble. That ticking damage might be enough. The Q misses, though. Looks like he might go down here anyway. The flash Q coming in from Kuro will secure the kill. You were talking about fast Barons. They get 1 kill. Will they go for it now is the question.
They're happy to pile in, and I think the answer is yes, Valdez. They don't have to commit to it hard. They have the Malzahar Voidlings. The Spirit's already tanking out a Warmox, but who cares? They had the Secure as well. I think it's time for the KSV suicide attempt at trying to stop this, but KSV look like they're just going to give it up.
Yeah, you can see they're edging on over to that one, but they're not going to make any big moves towards it. They're going to give it away. The Ren coming in early. Afrika knew they could have it. Nothing being done in the interim. They were thinking about pushing mid. Couldn't do even that at this point.
I guess for KSV, you know, with a performance like this, it's very much, let's hope the new patch is kinder to their players. Maybe Crown can jump on the Cassiopeia more after some of the tier changes, but right now it really is only tiers. Right now there seems to be good news at all for the side of KSV. They've been outclassed by multiple teams. They will be 1 and 4 in recent memory of the last 5 matches if they are to lose here. In the side lane, 2-level lead for Keen against a lane-dominant pick in Press the Attack Kennen. The numbers here, 787 damage. There's a new meme ready to be born from the side of QV.
Oh, no.
Remember, he's on top lane Kennen with Press the Attack. He's supposed to just be auto-attacking the Rise to death.
Yeah.
He's only put out 700.
A TP from QV early on in that fight. It was a double kill and massive damage from that top Rise, who's looking at 4-0, by the way, in terms of his top Rise win percentage. Compared to this Kennen. I mentioned Kled earlier on. I'd like to see that compared to this. Ambition has to flash away.
All they can do. 2 lanes being brought up at the same time. Rise trying to make it the 3 lanes, the full court press. Kuro getting free autos in. Has the Voidlings to tank up the Battle Star if it's ever thrown out. In case we don't have the items to fight. You know, they need to pull someone on the turret, and then maybe someone else has their cord pulled out of the computer. We've got real struggles here to win any sort of a 2v2 or a 3v3.
Well, one outer turret goes out, or rather, tier 2 turret, and another one looking to meet the same fate. Down it does go. They're moving now towards the bottom side. They've got a Rise. It's level 15 and level 12 at this point. What are you going to do?
You're going to leave. You're going to leave. That's what QV, he took 1 round and he was like, okay, I've been invested, and he left the lane.
It's like, I think I'm about to have another toilet issue on this Rift right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, boy.
You know?
This might be the first and last time we see top Kennen again here in LCK.
Good news, it won't be a perfect game. There has been a turret picked up by KSV, but it is the perfect game for Afrika fans. This is what they've been dreaming of after a couple of lane performances. Week 5 was not kind to them, going down in 2 straight sets. This one, KSV have no good options. They can't enter lane. Their counter pick was 3 levels down in the top side. Doesn't have the same teleport impact as Arise because he's this on-hit cannon. The Skarner, the Impale, isn't even being used because it's not going to actually... It's going to help an enemy gap close to kill someone, unfortunately. This first Baron buff has been epic, even though it hasn't broken the base. Good news, Ruler has 2 items, but that's really all they have to show for this first 25 minutes.
Yeah. Talk about the Impale, probably the only good target is the Rise at this point, but he's got an Abyssal Mask and a Seraph's Embrace.
Yeah, he's not dying.
Not counting Merc Treads, but I say best. It's not a good one, but it might be the best even at that.
Well, Afrika predictably can't break the base. This comp will find a lot of difficulty in doing that unless they're willing to dive, and there's definitely an outside chance the dive is on. In that area, the Kennen ult will be relevant because of the CC, not so much about the damage. Pushing up to a 3rd lane and for the first round here, but being respectful so far, Afrika.
Ambition is thinking about it. I think what you were saying earlier about Impales, maybe you just don't even want to do it. He's going to be locked down, though, and, well, the Cosmic Radiance will come in and save him, so you got to be careful about this. Finally, an Impale comes in, but it's on to Tushin. Unfortunately, not enough damage just yet. The Fate's Call is going to save him in the end of it all. A more risky engage there from Afrika, kind of playing with their food.
But you see what's possible. Even though they're 13,000 gold behind, they do win a 4v4 because of the great timing on the Taric ultimate. It is, like you say, only something that happens when they're looking to turret dive, when they're looking to close the game out. So recreating that is going to be very difficult, as Taric doesn't have a real initiation conduit because Ambition can't actually start a fight on the Skarner right now. But still, that is something that does buy them time. We're only playing lip service to the late game because it seems very unlikely to be happening, but they can recreate that 2-3 times, largely around the next Baron, you'd have to imagine. Maybe this game can extend out and become more competitive than it currently is.
Yeah, it's just, we talked about that on-hit cannon. Loves to push the side lanes and, you know, get presence in a different lane, but when you're going up against a Rise that's this far ahead.
I mean, the problem with on-hit cannon always was, if he falls behind, he can't really do anything. He doesn't have fast wave clear. If he enters lane, he can just die straight up to the opponent, so he's giving up multiple minion waves. We might see a Flame Horizon. In fact, we're likely to see a Flame Horizon in the top side against an on-hit cannon, one of the most powerful blind pick laners that has ever existed in the top lane in League of Legends.
Yeah, certainly having a bit of trouble, although I don't know if had he gone onto the Ornn or some other kind of tanky pick, I think only like Maokai was available at that point. Would it have been any better? Perhaps that play down on the bottom, he may have saved a life.
4,000 gold lead for the Malzahar in the mid lane because of the GP10. GP10 meta back in this game, and huge gold lead, 4,000 gold. Even though it's only 50 CS, is pretty insane. About 3,000 gold on the top side, largely because of the CS advantage.
Well, you talked about the efficiency of Braum versus Zoe. You see it there.
Most people would think Tahm Kench because you devour the target that's been slept, but the problem is Tahm Kench can't devour himself, which means that he can't actually defend himself if he's the one hit by a trouble. Well, we don't really want to go QSS in this sort of a game. I guess against Skarner it feels a bit better, but that's why the Braum can fight for himself and does end up being a bit more attractive as a pick.
Definitely seemed to be the right pick in there. You notice that after that fight that Afrika was a bit shaky on against Cosmic Radiance, they've backed off. They're not playing as aggressive. They're waiting now for some objectives. You were talking about Baron definitely will help out in the push, and I'm not sure if KSV can even contest this at this point.
I think they have to. The right Cosmic Radiance makes a lot of things possible, but you're trying to cheat a 13,500 gold lead. Would need something amazing, and 3-item Tristana. Outside chance Valdez, very low armor values, the perfect Cosmic Radiance, but it's literally you hit perfection or you just lose the game. So that's kind of the deck being super stacked against KSV. The glass is definitely not half full. They are massively far behind, but not willing to write them off completely just yet.
They had a nice position there in the mid lane. I thought they might push it in as it was only Ruler sitting there. The rest of them were stuck up by the blue buff. But so far, Afrika have been leaning this way, looking for a play on the summon. They're going to land it onto Ruler. Ult for ult is traded. But again, they can't quite engage here. Ambition, though, he's going to be looking for the pull. He's going to get onto someone there. It looks like Spirit, but they just turn it around right away. Look at the top laners go at it. QV not able to stand up to the damage of the Rise. And at the end of it all, Ambition tries to make the play once again, but not tanky enough to stay alive.
I mean, he's using his Impale on a Sejuani when his team is behind in gold. They're never going to be able to kill the Sejuani. Tank items early always outpace damage items in terms of actually keeping you alive. So Spirit's back to full health with the Warmogs. The Baron will start. It's a rushed decision by Ambition, the wrong one, and they lose Baron as a result.
The fight had begun. They traded the Sejuani ult for the Cosmic Radiance, but then re-engaging there, definitely not the answer. Maybe just let it go, poke a little bit with the Ruler, and re-evaluate your position. But either way, now we have another Baron here for Afrika, who pick up an extra bonus kill. And they're going to be looking to push, especially with a second Mountain Drake, to make things even easier.
Keen had a Rylai's in his inventory, decided better for it, went back and rolled it back for the Void Staff. He is supremely strong. 6-item top lane Rise at 30 minutes into the game. He's even ahead of Kuro, but I guess it's the 5 items. He does have the wards, of course, but he's in a great spot. Kuro is just a completion away from his own Void Staff. About 700 gold, as our observer is kindly showing us. The initial trade, we weren't going to get a replay, so just to say, the initial trade of Sejuani ultimate for Taric is the right choice by Afrika, because then they don't have Taric ult to contest the Baron. So if it was just the ults were thrown out, everyone disengages, I still like it for Afrika, but then they got the bonus, the cherry on top, and obviously it became a free Baron.
Yeah. Got to take what you can get. Afrika's definitely in the driver's seat here, and they're playing it very well. Now with the Baron buff, looking to push into the first inhibitors. Rise up in the top side, up against QV. You can see that not really having a fun time. The bottom inhibitor obviously going to go down.
Kuro is level 18 to the 13 from Ambition. Not even talking about Core JJ.
Yeah.
They're looking for a pick here. They actually got one.
Looks like they should be able to get it. It's 3 members versus just Rise. Ruler even showing his face up there.
One able to push the mid lane in, so it's after the inhibitor went down. So small criticism to Keen. Too far up. Here's a turn.
No QSS, nothing to help him out, and down he does go. Just around the corner was the scary Malzahar, and the Cosmic Radiance even blown here. Not going to help out at all, and now you're going to get caught. Now you're going to go. That's going to be the second inhibitor. Most likely the game as Afrika are pushing in.
They're looking for it to close. Such deletion damage from the Malzahar. Here's more.
Double kill now for Aiming, who's had a fantastic series. 2 wins. It's looking like for this rookie guy coming on in, trying to get the wins, and that's going to do it. Only 1 kill on the board for KSV. The clean 2-0 victory for Afrika.
Welcome back, Afrika Freaks. You only had a 1-week break, but you took 2 weeks after going down twice last week. This week, however, showing their potential, even varying. The ever-reliable Kramer bringing in Aiming. They did not miss a beat. In fact, they looked even better. So aggressive in the laning phase, double flashing over for the kill on Core JJ, and they never needed a second invitation to close the game. This is the Afrika Freaks I want to see when we hit playoffs, because this is an Afrika Freaks that on their day can beat any team in the LCK.
We talk a lot about Afrika's success, but what does it come on the back of? We talked a bit about their coach, Ilavuv, the famous coach and player from past times in StarCraft, and he's coming in. It's taken some time, but now Afrika is looking like one of the best teams in LCK and potentially the world. I'm not going to call it after this game, but it certainly was very clean. Seems like they have an even deeper lineup than we previously imagined, and they're looking good. That's really all I can say.
And then for the side of KSV, we praise the org for keeping the world champions together. This was supposed to be their coronation in Korea in 2018, but now, ironically, we want change. We need new blood in this lineup, and Haru has not represented the amount of change that KSV need. Maybe the meta can change on patch 8.4, but it seems unlikely. Kuro does insane damage. Remember, Malzahar has been toned down heavily on patch 8.3. Ruler didn't get to feel that. But for KSV, they need new players. It feels like they need a new option in the mid lane or top lane, because together, Cuvee and Crown is not working out unless the meta shift on 8.4 helps them disproportionately more than other teams. How can we expect it to change?
Yeah. The Skarner in this game as well, we've talked, I mean, they do have a sub in the jungle, but he hasn't had even that much more success than Ambition. Talking about Haru here, but the Skarner, who was first picked by KSV, having basically no impact in game number 2. Not really looking good overall for KSV. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board. I'm excited to talk to Keen, actually, in the MVP interview. He got his first MVP in game 1. It's a toss-up for game 2. Could be him again.
I just love watching teams play this well. It's not a bias thing. It's just in game 1, they understood where they were strong. They made picks that weren't working in Korea work, like the Scion. And in game 2, they styled on KSV. And we respect KSV for the level of opposition they represent. They're not Kongdu Monster when it comes to the standings, and Afrika Freaks made them look like a second-rate team. It was a fantastic performance from them. Kuro on this GP10 Malzahar was rolling back the patches, looking like 8.1 Malzahar in many ways. We're seeing the players in front of us roll off the screen, get ready for the MVP. Like you say, it's got a lot of change. 2 losses last week into a thumping of KSV. The step away for the Afrika Freaks, who went 2 series further than they would like. But right now, they once again feel like a top 3 team in Korea.
That they do. It's questionable when you look at the standings. You look at the 0-2 against Jin Air, and you're like, huh, that's a big question mark. It's closer series against Kingzone, but what can he really do? And then they come out here and they crush KSV. It's like, well, where is this team exactly? It looks like on the pretty good path so far. I'm
so hyped to see them against SKT in a couple of days. SK Telecom on a 4-match win streak. Afrika off the back of this win over KSV. That could be really fiery. I'm not sure what the better team is between the two. Afrika would be the one based on results this season, but the ceiling of Blossom SKT hasn't been shown. Does that ceiling crest over Afrika Freaks? That's the question I want to know the answer to right now, but sadly I'll have to wait a couple of days to finally find out.
The days certainly go by a little bit longer when you got a lot of things to cast in between, Papa, but you'll get there eventually. I'll be watching. Let's take a look at the MVP. It is going to be Kuro. Makes sense, you know. Definitely Keen did his part, but Kuro on the Malzahar. doing pretty well.
And I'm not usually someone who is easily convinced by Malzahar performances for MVPs just because so reliable on his engage. Usually it's press R and win, but this was a game where I think Kuro was fantastic. He was in the right position. His flash ults were fantastic. We saw him playing around Vision on the bot side, getting the kill onto Tristana. He went the GP10 build. He made it work. They vindicated, not going for the Talia and visiting the Malzahar, and if anything, it was even cleaner than game one.
Yeah. Up at the top, it says to go for some item. I don't know the name of the Korean items. It might just be the GP10 item, is what I would assume.
Remnant of the Watchers, I think it is.
Definitely.
I'll look it up during the break. Because
Worked out.
Surprisingly, we're going to have a long break after this interview.
Yeah, I know. Seems like it's been a couple of casts since that's happened at Spo TV. But either way, guys, I'm going to hand it over to the interview. Ji-sun will help with the translation.
연패를 끊어내고 승리를 가져왔습니다. 오늘 승리를 견인한 기인 선수 그리고 쿠로 선수의 인터뷰가 준비가 되어 있습니다. 함께 만나보시죠.
So today, Africa Freeze got the win from 2-0 victory. Congratulations. So I haven't had a lot of interview with you, Kuro, and also Keen. It's your first MVP for you, right? So how do you feel? Well, to say it simple, it's really good. So Kuro, you also didn't get a lot of MVPs nowadays. But we really appreciate your plays. So how do you feel? It's been a while that I got MVP, so I feel really good. Well, I'm really sad that I couldn't get MVP when I played LeBlanc.
다시 돌려봐도 정말 굉장하다는 느낌을 줬던 그런 경기였는데요. 이 경기 먼저 한번 짚어서 한번 말씀을 드릴까요?
So let's move on to the first game.
쪽에 관련된 그런 장면들 많은 장면들이
Speaking of top lane, well, we saw that Spirit wasn't taking a lot of care on the top lane. Was that planned? What kind of strategy did you try to bring? Well, Cyan and Ornn, we both don't really die in the lanes. So we knew that the opponent jungler will be in the bot lane. So yeah, I think our jungler didn't come to the top lane also. Well, I mean, you are one of the biggest rookie in the top lane, but you know, Khan kind of took the spotlight. So how do you feel? Well, I didn't really care a lot about people's attention because I knew it when my time will come. So yeah, I wasn't really nervous about that. Is there any highlights they wanna pick in the first game? Well, every moment that the opponent dealers use their flash whenever I use my W. And let's check out the clips. Tell us about this situation. But I knew this was coming, so I made this whole team fight. Well, as soon as I got Cubed down, I knew the game was over. And how about you, Kuro? You picked Malzahar in the second game. And well, it's a great counter pick up Zoe, but it's not an easy champion to use. So how do you feel? Well, yeah, it's a good champion to use against Joey, but yeah, I think it needs a little bit professional plays.
그러면 사실 오랜만에 MVP를 탔으니까 어떻게 보면 아니 오랜만에 탄 건 아니고 500포인트 상당히 높은 포인트인데 스맵 선수 눈.
Well, there's a Sumet right in front of you, staring at you. So how do you feel?
오실래요? 네, 오세요. 잠깐 와도 돼요? 잠깐 와도 돼요?
Come join the interview, Sumet.
와도 돼요. 네. 너보다 잘하는 여기 있어. 네.
Well, Kuro said I got a better top laner than you.
축하 말씀 해주신다면요?
Is there anything you want to say to Kuro?
네, 보기 좋네요.
Well, I wasn't really aware that he was the MVP.
양 선수의 멋진 장면 지나가는 스맵 선수 다시 한번 와주셔서 감사하고요.
So thank you for joining the
고맙습니다.
interview.
네, 지나가다가 잠깐 이제 들린 손님 같은 약간 그런 모습이었고 사실 최근에 그 흐름들이 굉장히 좋다가 약간 주춤거려가지고 힘든 경기를 지난번에 경기를 연달아 좀 펼쳤었잖아요. 그 다음에
So I think you guys are finding your rhythms back.
기인 선수.
우리가 아직 설 연휴를 끝나고 나서 그렇게 됐잖아요.
After the long break, I think we was a little bit underperforming because I think we needed to practice a little bit more. So yeah, we just focused to practice a little bit more than we used to.
선수 좀 만족할 만한 그런 합들이 좀 나오던가요? 어땠어요?
일단 확실히 저희 그 합이 옛날 같지 않다는
Yeah, I thought a little bit that our teamwork wasn't perfect. So I think we're a little bit over practicing, but we're working on it. So yeah, I think it'll be better next time.
굉장히 멋진 장면 역시 이 세트 많이 등장을 했었습니다. 두 번째 세트.
Then let's check out the highlights from the game 2.
자 여기는 뭐 황철 선이 걸리면 다 끝났으니까 이거 조이 잡는 장면이었고. 이때는 아예 노렸었나요? 이때 조이가
So were you planning on catching her down?
아니요, 딱 그런 거 없었고 그냥
Well,
저희가
it was actually more like a spur of the moment. Where I was trying to focus on Skarner, but and then I saw Zoe right in front of me, so I was lucky to get her.
이때는 흐름들이 완전 넘어왔었죠.
이때는 근데 라이드가 잘려서 흐름이 잠깐 넘어갔는데
And this moment, I think we were a little bit worried because our rise died, but it was a little bit lucky to win the team fight over there.
그 계산이 얼마나 완벽했는지 완전히 훅 중간에 뚫리는 장면들이 있었는데 사실 시청자분들도 이 오늘 경기를 보고 굉장히 공부가
And one of our
됐습니다.
fans asked that
시청자분들의 질문에서 이게 올라왔습니다. 지금 경기 순서에 관련된 내용인데
So your opponents were Kingzone and then KSV, and next one will be SK Telecom.
순서에 대해서는 지금 현재 어떻게 느끼고
So
있는지
how do you feel about that?
한번 말씀해
Is
주시죠.
it a little bit tough?
아무래도 좀 강팀들을 연속으로 만나다 보니까
Yeah, we are facing some stronger teams in a row.
약간 힘을 팍주고
네.
나중에 약간 느슨하게 그렇게 가는 그런
So I think maybe we should just concentrate on the earlier schedules and then feel maybe a little bit comfortable in the now on, in the later on.
그 시간이 있고 그 이후는 좀 더 여유 있는 경기 운영을 통해서 천천히 승리를 쌓아 올리겠다 이 얘기죠?
당연하죠.
그렇습니다. 이야기했어요. 그러면 크로스.
Then what about you, Kuro? And do you want to add on to that?
저희가 킹존 KSV로
It's
시작했단 말이에요.
similar to the first round.
그다음에 또 막 KT였고
So we faced Kingzone and KSV and then KT Rolster.
저희 1라운드, 2라운드 대진이 좀 세팅이
So,
먼저 계속 잡히는데
yeah,
맞아요.
we always have to face stronger teams the early of the round robin. So
좋게 좋게 할 수 있잖아요.
I think it gives us a little bit more about positive energy as we take down the stronger teams.
계속 열심히 해서
So we're gonna keep on working on our hard work.
괜찮을 것 같은데 어때요 지금 분위기 보면?
지금요?
네.
지금
So how do you feel about the second round?
훨씬 1라운드 때보다는 좋을 것 같아요.
Well, so if we just continue on this win, I think it will be better than the first round.
충분히 근거가 있지 않을까라는 생각이 듭니다. 오늘 그리고 에이밍 선수가 등장한 것에 대해서 얘기가 좀 있었어요.
And
어땠어요?
you know, speaking of aiming, the new AD carry.
좀 풀어주고 초반에 쿠로 선수가
How was the game with him?
좀 화면에 좀 잡혔었거든요. 긴장 많이 하던가요? 뭐
Was he nervous
거의
before the
긴장 안
game?
하는 선수라고 좀 들었었는데 어땠어요?
긴장은 그렇게 많이 안 한 것 같고
He doesn't really get nervous a lot.
다독여주는 것 같아요.
But I think Kuro was a little bit pretending to show his care to the new player.
게임 시작하기 전에 긴장이 안 된다 그랬어요.
네네네.
그런데 게임
I mean, aiming said that he's not worried before the games, but as the game started, he said like he's feeling a bit nervous. So I was trying to like make him feel a little bit more comfortable. I think it's distorting my love to him.
그래요? 그럼 진짜 챙겨줬는지 안 챙겨줬는지 에이밍 선수
Then let's
모시고
bring aiming here
하겠습니다. 에이밍 선수.
And talk a little bit more.
네, 승리 축하드리겠습니다.
So congratulations on your victory.
에이밍 선수가 2000년생이죠? 네.
So you were
그래서
born in
어떻게 보면
2000.
어떻게 보면 새로운 길을 열었다 해도 과언이 아닐 정도로 이제 젊은 피들이 이제 계속 들어오고 있었는데 쿠로 선수가 이제 다독거려지면서 이제 경기 시작 전에
So
뭐라고 말을
what did
하던가요?
Kuro tell you before the game?
긴장하지 말고.
He told me not to be nervous and do my best. It was very typical words from him.
긴장하지 말라고 했는데
I just wanted him to be chill a bit down, but I don't know why they're just misunderstanding my intentions.
동생들이 이렇게 얘기한 것이 아닌가라는 좀 생각이 듭니다. 사실 에이밍 선수도 지금 사실 뭐 부담감이 없다고 말은 했지만 주변에서 팀원들도 약간의 우려가
So people say you don't really get nervous a lot.
출발도 좀 어려운 장면이
but
있었잖아요. 어땠어요?
How was the game overall?
그때 긴장은 안 하면서 하고
I don't really get nervous. Yeah, it's true.
저도 모르게 긴장을 하더라고요.
But yeah,
죽었을
today
때
when I died,
미안하면서
I felt a little bit sorry,
심장이 좀 뛰었어요.
and my hearts were
그게
beating
긴장
faster.
아니에요?
So I think I got nervous at that
그때
moment.
누가 좀 풀어줬어 그때.
그때
At that moment, and
다 같이 천천히
well, other players told me to slow down, just chill down, and feel more comfortable in the games.
에밍 선수를 기대하는 분들을 위해서 끝으로 한 말씀 좀 해주신다면요.
So, is there anything you want to say to your fans?
저를 좋아하시는 분들도 있고 싫어하시는 분들도 있겠지만
Well, there might
싫어하는
be
분들도
my
좋게끔
fans, but also my haters. So I want my haters to love me with my plays.
아 그리고 사실 워낙 요즘에 아프리카 경기 양도 좀 연습량도 많겠습니다만 경기 자체도 굉장히 빡빡하게 있어가지고 제가 듣기로는 기인 선수가 졸업식도 못 갔다는 얘기가
And I heard that
있어요.
Keen, you
좀
missed
아쉬움이 좀
your
있을 것 같은데요.
graduation
어때요?
ceremony.
네, 아직 학교 가서 졸업 앨범도 못 받은 상태여서
Yeah,
네.
I missed it
너무
because
아쉬웠어요.
I had a
그렇죠.
match on
그래가지고
that day, so I feel a
그
bit
아쉬움을
sad.
대신해서 졸업장을 만들어 왔습니다.
So we just made something for you to celebrate your graduation.
감사합니다.
졸업장 성면 김기인 1999년 5월 28일생 위 사람은 고등학교 3개년의 전 과정을
So, this
수료하였으므로 이 졸업장을 수여합니다. 2018년
a paper
2월
that-
스포 TV 고등학교 대도
Paper for Keen's graduation from Spo TV.
감사합니다. 자 이제 졸업장까지 드렸으니까 끝으로 이 두 명이 오늘 MVP 활약을 보여준 이 두 명의 선수 많은 팬 여러분들 약간은 걱정하셨을 거야 지난 그 두 개의 경기 때문에.
So
하지만
some
오늘
of
경기를 보시면서
your fans could have been a little bit worried
아프리카
from
팬들이
your
힘을 좀 팬들이
loss streak,
보셨잖아요.
but now you
함께
guys
팬
you
여러분들
guys
한
are back in the
말씀
rhythm. So is there anything you want to tell your fans?
앞으로 경기들도 많이 남았는데
We have more matchups coming up, so
지금까지 해보겠습니다.
we're gonna practice hard and we're gonna try to win the split. Thank you.
선수였고요. 그리고 쿠로 선수.
네, 앞으로 남은 경기들 다 이겨서
So we're gonna
걱정 없이
maintain
꼭
this
상위권에 들어서
great
노력하겠습니다.
performance and win
네,
all
쿠로
the
선수에게
all the
여쭤봤습니다.
teams that we're gonna
오늘
face.
멋진 경기를 펼쳐냈습니다. 아프리카 프릭스 2대0을 완승을 거뒀다는
So
소식을
this will be the
전해드리면서
interview
MVP
with
인터뷰를
Kuro,
마무리짓겠습니다.
Keen, and Aiming from Africa Freaks. I'll send it back to you guys.
Congratulations to Keen there, graduating from Spo TV High School. Got to hand it to him. It's been here for a while. Finally graduated, but
There was a great interview with
Yeah.
Invent Global where he talked about the fact that he had to miss his own high school graduation because of playing professionally. So, a little bit of memes there. Spo TV, man. They find a way to
I
just.
know.
You could just be walking off the street, just down the road. They'll bring you
Say,
into
"Hey,
the interview.
you
and
wanna- you wanna
want to get
come
in here?
talk?"
Yeah. Caster Sung, our big Korean caster, full of charisma as always. And KSV really found an Africa Freaks lineup full of confidence, so decisive, so aggressive. KSV, they brought 3 Gathering Storms. This game was over before that storm was even a couple of clouds on
Yeah.
the horizon.
Lots of Cloud Drakes, but not much of a storm here, especially for KSV. They didn't get many of those Drakes, and they didn't get many kills or any success on the cannon pick. After today, I'd say shelve it, Cuvée. I don't want to see that again.
No, on-hit cannon, I guess. I think he played with a couple of different ideas, realized AP wasn't going to work, and then the game made him decide that no cannon was going to work. In fact, no champion was going to catch up here. Malzahar deleting people left, right, and center. Again, a highlight reel of Africa, nothing to show for KSV. This is the Africa Freaks we saw a month ago. We see them again today.
Really nice control ward there on the right side that allowed Kuro to go in unseen.
As a
catch
4v5,
ruler.
remember?
Yeah, that was the end of the game, just on that one pick. They take out the carry, and nobody else could really do anything. Cuvée certainly not a carry. Crown just poking a Zoe from behind is always laughable. And that's what happened. A couple of quick games as Africa, they end their losing streak, as it says at the top, and they make it a couple of quick ones, under 40 minutes at 2-0. We're going to have a big, long break, maybe even longer than that interview, although I'm not sure, Papa.
100% sure it was a long one. It was an epic interview, an epic series in 2 days. First game on Thursday, Africa versus SKT. It's one to circle on the calendar. You look at the standings, and Africa, top 3 now. KSV, the free fall does continue.
Yep, that was the decider for third place. I mean, as we go along here in 2018 spring, we begin to get tiers in the standings. And so far, Kingzone KT up at the top. Africa clawing right behind them. KSV now is looking to fall beneath them into that middle rung, and SKT trying to go up as well. The next matchup, guys, is going to be KT versus ROX, so it could be another good decider. ROX Tigers could tie with KSV with the win tonight. It's going to be a hard one against KT, but hey, you never know.
And KT Rolster could actually go first in the standings, albeit only for a couple of hours. It's still something you still have to grasp at every opportunity. KT Rolster, we build them as more consistent than last year. They still had some hiccups, even if it hasn't hurt their match score too heavily. I'm excited to see if they can put past a ROX Tigers team that is still looking like an outside chance for top 5.
Yep. As I mentioned before, KT versus ROX going to be our second series. KT did beat them in the first round robin. It was a 2-1 though. ROX did show some nice plays, and they do look clean at times. So we'll see which ROX Tigers does show up later tonight.
SpoTV exclusive match. We had the first one. That was with a lot of Sejuani's ulting Zac. An interesting first series we'll talk about a little bit more after the break. Looking at the clock, 7:02 Korean Standard Time. Means about just over 45 minutes is a likely break here. So guys, sorry, we'd love to show you more League of Legends, but it's going to be a pretty long break.
Yeah, well, that was a fun one. I was thinking Afrika was going to win, but took pretty, it was a much shorter time than I expected because they made KSV look really not so good today.
You have to be really decisive to keep the game time shorter against KSV. Afrika shows they can be. We see the ceiling of Afrika. How often they can reach it, that's going to be the fun thing to watch.
Yeah, so guys, we are going to close it out here for now, but join us in about 45 years. We'll see you then.
LCK 스프링 스플릿 오늘의 첫 번째 경기는 아프리카 프릭스의 승리로 끝이 났습니다. 저희는 잠시 후 7시 50분 KT 롤스터 락스 타이거즈의 경기로 다시 인사드리겠습니다. 함께해 주신 여러분 고맙습니다.
Just a long lost look in your eyes brings out a love that I can't disguise. So take me down to the places I've never seen. Or don't you try to kill me with kind. It's just your love that's driving me wild. Oh, from the dawn we rise, with the heart we cry, into the light we go, into the light we go. From the darkest night, from the fire inside, into the light we go, into the light we go, into the light we go.
Welcome back, guys. We're here for more LCK Spring 2018 action. We're going to jump into the second match of the night. Will be KT Rolster up against the ROX Tigers. I'm with Papa Smithy. How are you feeling, dude?
Feeling good. It's a rematch, a match that we cast a few weeks ago. It was weird and wonderful. KT Rolster versus ROX Tigers the first time. Felt like we saw everything over the course of 3 games. KT fans will be hoping it'll only be 2. It's all about KT Rolster's second round robin. Right up there with Kingzone Dragon X. At least for tonight, they can go to bed first place in the LCK if they beat ROX Tigers.
Yeah, KT looking better and better, a lot less choky, a lot more consistent. The ROX Tigers, though, looking better as well, certainly compared to last year. They're sitting at 5-5, and they've been showing some signs of life here. So first, let's introduce our teams with Kim Soo-hyun.
팀이 나올 수 있을까요? 지금 기량이라면 가능할 것 같습니다. KT Rolster!
KT Rolster in the booth there, sporting all of their normal members. I'm sorry, guys. You know, only kind of looked like Rush in the booth.
Rush will be in the stadium. We saw him. He's around, but sadly will not be getting a game here. The kind boy will he's just too kind. I think he needs to be more assertive, Valdez, to get himself onto the rift. They will stay. Smep score. Deft, Pawn, and Mata as the roster. And you know what? They can be first for a while in a season where Kingzone have dominated. Even picking up the win, even only having it temporarily, is something KT fans do crave.
Yeah, I mean, we're just about 51 best-of-3s through. We got 90 in total, so there's still time for Kingzone to have a weaker end of the split and lose a couple of games, and it means that KT Rolster, when they're this close, they need to show up every single time against every single team. No choking, no people getting caught, and that means up against ROX Tigers as well.
5승 5패 6위. 아직 포스트 시즌의 가능성은 얼마든지 열려 있습니다. 그러기 위해선 오늘의 승리가 반드시 필요합니다. ROX Tigers!
ROX Tigers sporting their normal lineup as well.
They tried to bring in Mighty Bear and Kuzan. It was a disaster, Valdez.
Yeah.
We saw those Kuzan chain feeding in that game, and Mighty Bear not being able to turn it around. So the mid lane, Karma is of less likelihood here. Lava and Songwon back in the lineup. Again, they took a game off of KT. They could have won that series. They were ahead in Game 3 as well. ROX Tigers have been the surprise packet of LCK 2018. Much more competitive than we could ever have imagined. Can they actually upset KT Rolster today? Many analysts will say no, but it feels like every prediction about ROX Tigers has been off the mark in 2018. Maybe the surprises continue today.
Yeah, well, the ROX Tigers were able to win over KSV, I believe it was, and it was in a best-of-3 series. They looked extremely good, especially in Game 3 as they finally took the win. And again, after today, we have to question, where is KSV exactly? What does that win mean for the ROX Tigers? But they can erase all ideas of, you know, where are the ROX Tigers? How good are they actually? If they put up a really good fight tonight against KT.
Yeah, we've seen them competitive against the best, but apart from beating KSV, haven't been able to take over the best teams here. So we'll see what they can do today. Still patch 8.3, so not 8.4 innovation, but Lava has been one of our most innovative players in the LCK. Brought out the Galio, the Corki, bringing back old stuff that still works in today's meta. Hope to get it started very soon. Let's go over some key points. If you look at the stats, lots of consistency for KT Rolster. And while we still do see shades of 2017, they are not immaculately perfect every time they hit the Rift. When they look good, they look really good.
That they do. Stats prove the result, of course. KDA second, DPM second, gold difference at 15 second. They're second in everything, and they're second in the standing. So you never want to be the second place team. They're looking for the first place, and as we said before, they need a win tonight to up that chance.
Looking at some stats here for ROX Tigers, of course, given that they're in the top half, they have some things that work for them. A lot of Rift Herald control, top 3 for that particular stat. Rift Herald's power never been higher than it is right now, and the ability to get the snowball going in the mid game. And ROX Tigers have only impressed us, and this is definitely the lineup that we're expecting them to wield for the majority of games. All the Kuzan fans who thought he would pick up a starting spot have been very off base, especially with how good Lava has been.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this is going to go down. I would expect these two teams to butt heads a lot on the Rifts. Definitely KT, one of their downsides is that they like to fight a little bit too much, perhaps when they should be playing a little bit more passive and back. And the ROX Tigers, too, not afraid to get their hands dirty.
And we're looking at Sungwon, who has been involved in so much of the early action for the ROX Tigers. For the longest time, he had the highest first blood rate of any team, and I believe that's what we're cementing here. So he certainly is in someone who has been able to be very active on the Rift. 6.1 average assists. A lot of ganks up the top lane in particular as well. Feels like Sungwon and Linderong, the old duo, if they can play through each other, get Linderong ahead on a Gangplank or a Vladimir or one of his comfort picks, that's when ROX Tigers looks best, when they have a top lane lead.
It's funny, the meta we're in, the top jungle damage is 12%. Not a lot of damage coming out of the jungle. Lots of tanks, lots of Sejuani, Jax, wow. That's not even, well, Jax is actually one of the picks,
yeah.
But also Zach is the guy I was going for. Kind of missed the mark on that one. But either way, Pawn versus Lava in the mid lane, stability versus potential. Definitely Lava was not the guy you expected to see in the mid lane. Everybody was expecting the new pickup of Kuzan, but Lava came in and he's been so good so far. They're not going to change it up, especially after Kuzan's last performance.
A lot of very high damage champions he loves. The Corki, the Zoe, largely been trading on those. Why he has such a high damage percentage. 33% for a mid laner is very, very high. Only Faker in recent memory has had those sort of numbers. So on the back of his team a little bit. And Pawn has been largely stable. I feel like when he reaches real competition, he can struggle in lane, but that doesn't lead to chain feeding. He does actually get it together as the games go on. And there's...
So that's a sign for Mata's birthday. I don't know what the picture is. Do you have any idea?
No idea what they were going for there. They were talking about death, but happy birthday to Mata. I believe that means he's turning 24 Western age this year. 25th birthday can be different with the Korean ages and the Western ages. But Mata, one of the all-time legends of Korean League of Legends and of World League of Legends. MVP of Worlds in 2014. 2014, 4 years ago, though, and wasn't able to make it to Worlds last year. That's what they're targeting this year. They do not want to enter another regional qualifier, Valdez.
Yeah, that is very true. And based on what we've seen so far from 2018, the team that has the anniversary or the birthday or whatever it is, they generally win. That was not really the case in 2017. I remember the day, I think it was Umti's birthday or anniversary or something like that, and his parents came down to support him, and he played in the jungle and he got crushed. It wasn't even close, and it was kind of sad. And that was 2017.
We also learned this year that if you apologize after getting excited about KT Rolster, and by you, I mean you, Valdez, because you've indicated this, it does actually affect their fortunes. It was, in fact, in this exact matchup that your apology in Game 3 lets KT get over the line. So a bit of caster bias, but caster power also. You got the magic words, so be, judicious about your use of them, but you can affect the course of this season.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too excited just yet.
No.
If it does happen, I'll try to apologize and see if it is 100% rate that it actually works, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, guys, the pick and bans are ready. We'll have to stop it there as we jump into the draft for game number 1.
Roll onto the Rift here. Blue side Kalista first ban coming through from Deft. Hasn't played as much Kalista this season as you might imagine. Only 3 games and a negative win rate, and it's the ultra comfort for Sangyun. This is sort of series where, because the recent match was not that long ago, feels like we might see still some vibrations of the picks that really took KT over the line just a few weeks ago. So we'll see if that does impact here. It's Rise GP, the big lanes that we saw, and both of those definitely will be considered. Notice you do see a Xayah ban on blue side. You might think, okay, just don't want Xayah Rakan on the red side. Actually, this season, Sangyun has played 5 games of Xayah, and they've only played 3 games of Rakan. So just straight up, he loves the Xayah as a pick for himself. So does the dual ban status when you're facing ROX Tigers.
Yeah, definitely some good bans so far. Gonna take away the Galio as well. We'll see if they want to go ahead and first pick something. Love from Germany. Happy birthday, Mata. Hashtag Alpaca. Little bit of love to his duo laner there as well.
Awesome to have some global fans here. So hello. Hope you're going to enjoying some great games. That Alpaca's not too long, so I can get behind it.
Yeah. That one was definitely a lot easier to identify as an Alpaca.
But there is a Mata on the screen. Sejuani, a very possible first pick. Ezreal priority's gone down a little bit, so I don't expect that to be a first pick here. So they make of the draft. Still Zoe available, but Zoe's also been fluctuating as teams on patch 8.4 don't get as much good practice on the Zoe. What a KT make of the draft? Sejuani is the power jungler. It is available. It's taken, but notice that ROX, for the first time in a while, can return to Sungwon on Kha'Zix. Been a really big pick for them. Sungwon, one of our best Kha'Zix players, very opportunistic in how he approaches the Rift. Gnar is also high priority for ROX Tigers. 4-1 on the season. So let's see what they decide to take on the red side.
It's funny because the Sejuani was the game 1 the last time these two teams played. Sungwon was the one throwing the Sejuani ultimates into the Zac. I think it was like 6 times in a row or something like that.
Every time.
Yeah. Literally every time in the game, he threw his Sejuani ultimate at the Zac.
It did appear that Score had stolen his lunch money or and somehow ruined his family's honor because there was a personal vendetta going on. But the personal vendetta has to move to the side. Interesting to see the Kha'Zix priority go down this much. It feels like Kha'Zix has been kind of a week-on-week thing where 1 week Kha'Zix will be in the meta and he'll go out, not necessarily related to nerfs or buffs, but not wanting to go for the battle warning strategy against KT this time out, so just Jarvan here. And then the Varus. Varus was 0-5 for ROX Tigers, but they picked up a win in this exact fixture to start improving that. Looking for lane priority against KT is something you always want to do. We'll see KT first round Varus Braum, first round Xayah Rakan. KT having a winning bot lane to unlock Mata on the roam and Deft on the push is a very common thing, and Caitlyn Braum is probably the biggest power duo. It also denies the Braum synergy with the Varus for the permanent CC. So KT, you have to take a full bot lane against them to really have the win, and now you feel like KT have a lot of options, a very strong bot side of the map to play around.
Yep, don't mix up what's working out for you. Deft on Caitlyn has been a pretty consistent thing for KT, and not just that.
So Taliyah is a champion I want to look at. I feel like Pawn should be drafting it on blue side if it's left available. But if you take Zoe, you can confidently ban away the Taliyah and stop them playing a structure-focused game. It's kind of ironic because you think back to KT versus Kingzone in game 1, they drafted Caitlyn, Braum, and Galio, and then missed their win conditions and never actually got rolling. That is the comp they've looked most comfortable on subsequent to that big loss against Kingzone. But the Taliyah with the Galio banned away is the great pick here. So Malzahar, Taliyah could be the 2 bans. That will mean probably an Azir fallback for KT.
Yeah, could definitely head in that direction. We are going to have Key have some of his picks taken away as the support has not been picked yet. This guy kind of in the way of Max, but a little bit more consistent. Likes to play a lot of different things, some special stuff. His Bard, you know, even the Blitzcrank comes out from time
Thresh
to time.
as well.
Thresh, you know. But they're going to take some of the bigger power support picks away first. And there's that Talia you were talking about.
Yeah, really like the Talia ban against what KT had already drafted. Now there's not as many champions to go for. The roaming style around a winning bot lane. See what the fallback will be. Azir, Corki, feels like those are the sort of picks we would expect on blue side from Pawn. Malzahar has been his main this season, been jumping on it a lot, even after the nerfs. But his Azir is undefeated, so looking like Azir on the blue side, unless we see a new treat coming through. One day we'll see a range support. If Core JJ is not playing it, I'd be surprised for Key to play it. But if all your eggs are in the 2v2 winning lane basket, the reason why I don't mind it is that Varus and Zyra have a lot of synergy between the two. And if you can find a way to stop Deft and Mata from crushing lane, that to me is the way you hold back KT. But apparently ROX Tigers don't want to risk the ranged initiation or the ranged support.
Well, we're thinking about some other picks here.
Just feels like Nara Azir is a very common duo we could see here. So let's see if they just go for Nara and Azir on the blue side. We'll be blind picking for the top lane, and Nara is a big takeaway pick from Linderong. So either Smeb will pick something that beats Nara or just take away the Nara. Sorry, guys. We wanted some new stuff, but 8.4 is where the new stuff lies. Have you noticed that we just say that about every future patch, and half the time we're right, half the time we're wrong?
This time it definitely feels a lot different. There's more new items coming in. Quinn probably won't see her until like 8.7. I heard some grumblings about stuff. Please, no.
We might see the Kennen into Nara. It's a winning matchup for the Kennen. They're looking for a winning lane somewhere. They're certainly not going to get it bot lane, so I would love the Kennen here.
Okay.
It'll be an AP Kennen as well, you would imagine. Does mean very heavy indexing on the magic damage if it is AP Kennen, because they'll be having on-hit Varus and the Zoe as their other threats. But it is a winning lane matchup. It's one that Smeb knows very well as one of our best resident Kennen players. But I can understand your skepticism after QV couldn't get the press the attack Kennen working in our first series.
Well, definitely going to be a lot on the line there going up against Smeb as Kennen. We've seen many people try it in LCK to mixed results. There was the one game that Marin was doing, you know, the on-hit Kennen. He was pushing by himself, going 1v2. But there were only a handful of games like that, maybe 1 or 2 games, and it was one player, right? Other players have tried to match it. I'm not sure if Linderong today against KT is going to be the guy.
Well, I got bad news. It seems like your fears have been revealed. It is teleport Kennen, so it's almost certainly going to be on-hit Kennen. Ignite for AP Kennen's usually what we see, so yeah, going to try and attack the Gnar. We'll see if he can do a better job than QV.
Yeah, well, definitely a fresh start here. The Kennen was picked in Game 2 of the last series as they got stomped there in a 2-0. But if you use this once in Game number 1, you can go back to normalcy in Game 2 and say, okay, that didn't work. Let's just play more by the book.
Well, KT have a draft that everyone who really comes out there and tries to go for the strongest possible picks would look and smile about. The thumbs up would be in there. Very power draft, very safe lanes. Early pushing as well, lots of priority. Feels like ROX are trading a lot, indexing a lot on Linderong, getting attention from Sungwon and ganking top lane. Otherwise, they could just be rolled over by KT.
Well, guys, it looks like game number 1 is ready to start. The countdown has begun. Let's go into it. KT versus the ROX Tigers. The cheer is louder for the ROX Tigers. Not what I expected. KT famously having one of the biggest fan groups in Korea.
However, you know that for Mata's birthday, they handed out lots of tasty treats. So maybe people are just in a glucose coma after enjoying all the tasty cakes and other things the fans provided.
Some people, including myself, I couldn't help myself. Generally, for some of the bigger players, especially on big anniversary days, they'll provide you with some more expensive treats.
And especially KT. They usually have both their Chinese and Korean fan bases providing freebies, so thank you very much to them. A lot of loyal support there. It is press the attack cannon. You just know that someone in solo queue one-tricked this to top 100 challenger, and then every top laner looked at it and was like, this is good.
I could do this. Let's try it. So
Kennen never changes. That's kind of the crazy thing, is that we always see Kennen kind of around the same power level, and then people remember that AD Kennen is super annoying to lane against for basically every meta champion, and then we see him for 2 weeks, it doesn't work in competitive, and it goes back and rinse repeat. So we're back in that phase again.
I'm pretty sure I got the voice in my head saying that we're 6 kills away from 1,000 kills for Smeb. So
he would be our first top laner, I believe, to hit 1,000 kills, so that'd be cool to see. So guys, keep your eyes peeled. At least 2 games guaranteed this series.
Yep, send him your energy. Nard definitely something that can pick up a couple of kills.
Now he just needs a pentakill. 1 wombo Gnar ultimate.
All together,
yeah,
all at once, 5
Instant.
kills.
That's what we're looking for. Is ROX Tigers looking to improve on history. Summer season a lot kinder for them. 2 3-game series, and they did win 2-1 in that. So in general, this has been competitive after spring season was clearly not a happy hunting ground for ROX. We'll see how Smeb does. It's lane Kennen. Kennen has always done well against Gnar, takes advantageous trades in basically every part of the laning phase. But team fight on hit Kennen is not something you look forward to. The ultimate's just for CC, and the enemy can afford to walk up into it because the base damage isn't that high. See what the first item is. Play the Ruin King, a possibility into the Kennen.
Yeah, we'll see what he wants to do there. I'm curious about the Gathering Storms. How many people may have taken that? We have 3 players going for the sorcery tree on the side of ROX, whereas we have 3 also on the side of KT.
Every time I see someone take Gathering Storm against Kingzone or KT, I say that's optimistic. 2 of our quicker teams here in the LCK. We're getting the multi-view on, yeah. Wait, no, that's just the same view.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
That's actually just a while ago.
One smaller
Previously
view.
on the mid lane.
Yeah.
It's like we're watching the latest episode of Law and Order or something.
Yeah. As we've soon figured out, yeah, 2 views of the same thing is generally not better than 1.
Have you noticed that Spo TV just has so much new technology this season? It's great.
They don't know what to do with it. They're like, let's give it a shot. You know, you never know what happens. Loving the interviews. We had something like a 10-minute interview after the first series.
It felt longer than game 2. At least it felt like it was like still to be developed. The twists and turns weren't revealed as early in that series. But anyways, we're having fun here on the Rift, guys. Early game with such strong laners. Probably not going to be too much to write home about. I guess Smeb being competitive against Kennen is probably the thing to point to and say that's probably the best news story for the side of KT.
Well, we're going to have to see what Deft also can do on the Caitlyn. It's been one of these picks that has kept him safe, you know? When he plays on stuff that gets into the fray, sometimes he gets a little bit out of hand with how aggressive he gets, but the Caitlyn, it's very hard to get too far in there.
And because it's Varus and Tahm Kench, specifically the Varus, not the sort of lane where you can solo down the turret super early, but this is another one of those lanes where the lane will be judged largely on turret health, because unlocking KT to rotate their bot lane into the mid lane, having Braum roam around with as strong side lane as they have, is a very likely plan here for KT. They don't quite have Ryze, so Azir not as adept in a side lane, but getting the Caitlyn going, rotating around the map, getting the first ring of turrets down, it's kind of the gold standard for KT roster.
ROX doing a good job fighting back here in the bottom lane. Actually, Devour here on Tamada, but he's going to be okay. But you will notice that the health advantage and the slight mana advantage just before that trade was going over to ROX down here.
And with the matchup as it is, it's an advantage to the side of ROX Tigers pre-shop, and then famously Songyun has to spend a lot of gold on a Rage Blade that doesn't build particularly well, and Deft kind of inches ahead in terms of items. The BF Sword Power Spike can't be matched for the side of ROX Tigers, so that's why trades are going well. Here's a teleport.
And the flash in, we got Exhaust coming on, but the Devour comes in and a canceled TP from KT. means that they're going to go for the kill on Tomato, who doesn't have his flash. That's going to be an unfortunate first blood against our birthday boy in the bottom lane. That's going to be picked up by the Zoe of Lava as well.
Now, the ult was used by Linderung, so my read is it was an interruption on the teleport. Didn't see it. Hopefully, Spo TV's multi-view caught it. But the end result was that Mata was baited. He was too far up because he was expecting Smeb to come in. He dies. The teleport was picked up by Lava. Of course, it was counterfeit, but it looked like the real thing. That was a very high-quality fake coming out from Lava, and the end result is first kill to ROX Tigers.
Okay, the multi-view comes in. It was an interrupt. Papa, the reverse prophet, is correct this time.
Smeb was almost full health, and Cannon's ult was down, so didn't take too much detective sleuthing, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Also, Linderung had a lot of his health missing because he had to go in there and interrupt and put himself in a bad position to get that stun off.
Will we play the Ruin King? Do we go full classic on-hit cannon build? Hurricane into a Frozen Mallet? Could also go for Phantom Dancer if you really want to double down on lane. You saw the attempt from QV was as many laning items as possible, but of course...
Did you say the intent?
The attempt. The attempt was as many laning...
I thought for a second, I'm like, wow, he's a genius.
The lane was just dead too early, was the problem that QV had, so keeping the turret HP high is the hope for KT. And Smeb's just like, well, I don't want to deal with this crap. I'm just going to farm it out.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe I cursed Mata. I remember I was like, well, in 2017, everybody who had an anniversary was getting destroyed on the Rift.
What is it with you and these extremes? Everybody?
Pretty much everybody.
But you can say
the
commonly.
Majority.
But you didn't say the majority. You said everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
You're setting it up for a debated moment. You know, that's what you're trying to do.
Nobody's going to bring out the stats of 2017 anniversaries. If someone's got that, I'm very curious, but nobody's got it. I'm pretty confident.
Well, you know what ROX Tigers do have? They've got an Ocean Drake going to be picked up here. Smite didn't need to be on point. They take it down. Very nice for the laning phase. Cannon's like, damn, I don't have any mana, but apart from that, it's going to be happy times. But BF Sword versus some stuff is where the Rage Blade does slow down a bit for Sangyun.
Yeah.
Lane trades here going to be very nice for KT, but being respectful now that Mata's summoners are down.
I like the way you describe it, some stuff. It's like he's carrying a handful of old tools or something down into the lane.
Usually when I see someone at 6 items early with culls and ruby crystals, I think of it as thrift shopping. Whatever they could put together, some power, I guess. I'm going to play around pawn in the top side. They don't pick up the big raptor, though.
That was very close. Almost getting punished for that move at the Raptors. Ended up being worth it.
Usually this sort of play is really difficult because Cannon normally has insane presence on the Gnar. He's going to rush in anyway. Really trying to set up this steal, but investing a lot of Smeb's time to do it.
He's going to build up that E and freeze him, get the stun off. You can see the damage goes over against Sungwon, but the Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to miss, but they're going in the flash on the score, and down he goes. The multi-view keep coming on in from the bottom lane. His presence is not felt, but it is known.
Yeah, controlled aggression there. It's not what we saw from KT. It was a bit brazen. The moment that Cannon had to, Smeb had to just hop to get closer to the Sejuani, it was probably time to pull away. Horn can't stay in control of mid lane forever against a blue buff Zoe. So Zoe just rotates first. Abyss of Voyage comes from the bot lane. A second kill goes the way of ROX Tigers, and somehow it's all happened again.
It's going to be a really nice kill also.
Uh-oh.
Pawn. He blows his
too
early. That is unfortunate. Lava, though, not able to commit to the kill there, but at least he blows his cleanse for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, the cleanse was super early there. All he got was a little bit of CC duration being removed from the cleanse passive. Seeing Lava walk up.
Oh, the flash.
He messed up. That one up.
Yeah.
Flash was too late. Whoops, says Lava.
Still pressuring, though, and look at Key's presence in the mid lane. Keeps him safe against the Sejuani for now. And we got a very early 10-minute Rift Herald going over to ROX Tigers. We were talking about the stats of their Rift Herald control. It's coming in, and look at how aggressive they are in the mid lane, too. You don't see this too often.
Yeah, Braum is always going to rotate second. Doesn't have Abyss of Voyage, didn't have Summoners till very recently. Lava mess up his threading of spells, but still is able to force Pawn out of lane. Things going tricky here for the side of KT Roll. So definitely not smooth sailing. And they've tried to make too many plays based around the Gnar rotating when it's a standard counter match up for the cannon into the Gnar. They've been caught a couple of times, but speaking of catches,
yeah, well, Key does have Cleanse Flash. It looks like Flash is going to be blown to get out of that one.
Smab roaming through, but walking through a control ward. The action was already to the side, so very low chance of that being pulled off successfully. Haven't seen a visit to the bot lane turret HP as we've been focused on laners roaming to the mid lane. But given that it's Varus, my prediction is still going to be pretty healthy.
Yeah, it looks like both of them are relatively healthy down there, especially the KT turret, of course. That first kill up in the top lane to Kennen gets him in 11 minute and a half Blade of the Rune King already. So new boots, isn't going to need those just yet, not before his Blade of the Rune King. So we already got this Kennen off to a much better start compared to Kyve's Kennen.
And then you can just transition. There's so many different options you have. When you're this on-hit cannon, you can go a full on-hit build. You can go play the Ruin King into ability power. You see Teemos and Solo Q do that. We go a lifesteal item into full ability power. My impression is Frozen Mallet build, but again, you're not bound to that. As Lava just wanted to connect with some damage, so went with the very aggressive Battlestar.
Still managed to do about a fourth of his health, nearly instantly there.
The damage amp still there from the trouble bubble, so yeah. Got that little buff.
Sungwon hanging out in the wings here. Pawn does have his flash, but he's going to use the Rift Herald. Actually, 12 minutes and a half. This mid lane turret, if you guys remember, took a lot of damage, but Score in position, trying to help out against this, but as long as it gets the charge, it will. Kill on the turret. There it is. Just a couple of things, but they're actually going to just burn down the Azir. Didn't see that one coming, but Pawn trying way too hard to stop that from going down.
Yeah, Skull walked up to try to just smite the Rift Herald for damage. It actually did slow it down, but of course couldn't answer completely and baited on to walk up. His flash was up. His cleanse was not, he dies. And can take over red side control as well.
Well, Songwon getting very aggressive in the jungle. And, well, ROX, I said their style is very aggressive. They like to do weird things. We saw them lane swapping early with the unsealed spellbook, teleporting into top lane. Now they're just showing incredible lane presence after a couple of kills and pushing so early, especially on this patch. You don't see this too often.
And a few aggressive moves that KT made were thwarted. You saw scores playing the enemy red side go to the advantage of ROX Tigers, whereas ROX are making everything work. Wherever Songwon goes, they've been able to trade up. Top lane is being held, as you'd predict, so early into a Blade the Ruined King cannon. So they've got priority where they chose to have priority. The mid lane has fallen behind the tune of no longer really being able to play around the Caitlyn and Braum bot side and Pawn. Too easy to get dunked down by Songwon. Will this be another